watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Welcome to your Friday Loose Women and getting you live and loose for the weekend alongside me, Kay Adams. It's our kid, Frankie Bridge, Nadia Sawala, and quite an entrance there, Jane Moore. We have got... you liked it. We've got lots of laughs, great guests, plus some big debates. Is there a time to stop sleeping naked with your kids? Nah. This is after comedian Rob Beckett tweeted that now his kids were getting older, it was time for him to cover up. At 12:45, Mariella Frostrup will be here to answer everything you always wanted to know about menopause, but were afraid to ask. She tells us why she's written a book on the still taboo subject. And at 1:15, soap star couple Amy Walsh and Toby Alexander-Smith will be here to tell us all about expecting their first child together. And they met while they were sitting in the audience of Strictly. Oh, it's a really nice story, it is that. Nice specs, Nads.
Don't start.
No.
I've had it all morning.
What do you mean, what's wrong? I think they're nice, I really like them. I mean, it reminds me of... Who is it?
What
Who is it? Who?
Oh, here we go.
There it is.
This is what Mark keeps saying to me. Now you've said it as well.
There's another one as well. What's the other one?
Nana Muscori.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Velma. I love Velma.
I love Velma.
I think they look really nice, actually.
Thank you, Frankie. Frankie's my new best friend.
You're a complete soup, Frankie. You really are. Yeah. No, it is 6 months since the devastating murder of Sarah Everard. And a new report has found that stopping violence against women should be considered as much of a priority for the police as combating terrorism. It found problems, unevenness and inconsistencies in the police approach to what is described as the epidemic of violence against female victims in the UK, which I find quite a striking statement, that a police report would say that there is an epidemic of violence against women in the UK. So should it be put on the same priority level as terrorism, whatever that would mean, Nadia?
Well, when you think about what does terrorism mean, to incite terror, and when I think about what I feel often when I'm out and about and what I feel for my girls, bringing up daughters, I feel terror. And my daughters, in a way, have triggered me back to my own childhood. And when I think back to when, you know, I had big boobs, I was very mature, very young, and, you know, we'd get that attention that you get, you know, whistles and slowing down the car and, you know, asking if you want to get in car, all that stuff that happens to girls out on the street on a regular basis. Because for me, we've never had the streets. Reclaim the streets doesn't mean anything to me. And so it started off feeling like a very frightening thing to me, and then through my life, it became a validation of me. Oh, it's like men do, because people will say, oh, well, it's nice, you know, if a man's whistling at you, if he's doing, you know, if you go past a building site and, whoa, that's a good thing. So then somewhere along the line, those lines got blurred, and I started to think that meant that I was cute, or I was like...
It is interesting you say that about the catcalls, because it's a conversation we have had over the years here on Loose Women. There are a lot of women who say, it's nice, I like it, you know, it makes me feel good.
I will have said it on Loose Women loads of times in the past, but when my daughters came to me and said, Mum, I was out and this guy did this, and it made me think, oh, my God, that's what I felt like, but I just told myself, and society told me, that actually it's a lovely thing, and you should like it.
I mean... This is a long time we're passing now. I mean, Frankie, obviously you're a good bit younger than us. I mean, I just wonder, is it changing? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? I mean, what do you feel? I mean, do you feel a sense of apprehension, terror?
I don't feel like I've ever properly, directly experienced it and felt terror in that way, but I know that I have been on a train and ended up in a carriage on my own, just me and one man, and I got off the train at the next stop. And I don't even know why. It was just that sudden feeling of, like, he looked at me a couple of times. I was aware that I was on my own, and I just thought, I've got to get off, I'm not going to make it to the next stop.
And doing anything particularly to threaten you directly?
No, and I just got off, and then I realised that I'd got off at a stop. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know how to get a taxi. I rang Wayne, and I was like, I've just got off the train. I was really scared. I don't know why I did it. And he was like, well, where are you? I was like, I don't know. How are you going to get home? I don't know. And I'd have been at my next stop like 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, and I still now, I don't really know what made me do it.
So
And these are the small incidents. These are the little incidents. And we're saying we feel terror. When the big and also everyday incidents that happened, that's a whole nother level. Things that I hear every day from my daughters and my daughters'
But I'm
friends.
just thinking of blokes listening to this, or mothers of sons, thinking, what are you saying here? Are you saying that every man is a predator? Are you saying that women should be scared of
For me,
of
I
men?
think of every man as a potential
Do you?
predator, knowing that 99% of them aren't, but I just don't know which one is. So if I'm out and I'm on the train or I'm walking, I'm alerted the whole time. I'm thinking, OK, what's happening down there? Is there a light there? Do I have to go around this corner? Why is that car slowing? I just think about that all the time that I'm out. I'm computing like that.
See, I
just
don't. You,
naturally.
Jane?
No, I don't. But weirdly, I do. I mean, with every fibre of my being, I want to be able to say to my daughters, you know, live your life, wander down the street naked if you like, or whatever. And in an ideal world, we all could. But with my daughters, I always say, well, look, you know, if you're out and you sense anything that you don't feel right about, you know, get yourself out of that situation, etc., etc. And that is really how we're all programmed to think, whether we like it or not. But a lot of people watching this who've got young sons will say they feel like that when their young sons go out on the streets as well, because, of course, the statistics of violence against young men on the streets is really high as well.
That's something that really scares me.
Yeah, I think if you just look at sort of the personal violence thing overall, I think, you know, if we are sitting on a train and there's somebody with a bag with some who looks a bit dodgy with some wires sticking out or whatever, and you rang the police, they'd be there like that.
But you couldn't ring them and
danger,
say...
danger. But you wouldn't, if you said there's a man on the train or a woman, if you like, who's behaving very strangely and inappropriately with some young girls at the end of the carriage, they probably wouldn't take it as seriously. And I think that's the sort of mindset that they're trying to change with this report. And, you know, for example, the domestic violence disclosure scheme, you know, where you can, if you're a little bit suspicious of somebody you've just met, and you can ring up to see if they've got a record, apparently only a half of these right-to-know applications actually result in disclosure to a potential victim. So that needs to be improved. But in France, for example, a young woman walking along the street got catcalled. She verbally retaliated, turned around and said, "Shut up," to the guy. He then strode over, struck her in the face.
Wow.
She got CCTV and she publicised it, and it became this huge campaign that got picked up in France. And now the French Equalities Minister has now imposed on-the-spot fines to sexual harassment perpetrators.
Good.
So in a way, it's like the Broken Windows campaign of New York. Start on the basic level.
So
This
what you're
behaviour
saying
is not acceptable.
The classic guys on the building site, you know, catcalling or whatever, would be sexual harassment.
Well, this guy actually, because she told him to shut up, then came over to her.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a straight-up assault.
Yeah.
I mean,
But what I mean is that there is very much now a law in France where that behaviour will be dealt with in the same way,
what?
maybe.
I wish, like, for the many times over the years that I had the courage to say something to the police. I have never, and I'm sorry, just in my experience, won't be all police, I've not had a response that in any way makes me feel anything can be done.
Well,
and
but
what
they
we've
might
got to
say,
change
they might
is that
say the law is not there to back them up, because a lot of the times the
probably.
police will
Well, they
arrest
do.
people,
Yeah.
and then when they do all the paperwork, they do all and repeatedly they see people get off before they even get to the court process.
But girls
the
are
fact that they
reporting
have published this report, I mean, I think is significant, and also acknowledged that
Hugely.
this is what they regard as an epidemic.
And they're saying
of violence.
very quickly, it says here, they want to create a new statutory duty to protect women and girls in the same way children are given protection.
Do you know what I find so ironic, though? Because we have a fear of men in this situation, but the first person you'd call is your bloke. So we have a fear of men on one side, but we want men to come and save us on the other side. And that is a real strange dichotomy, I think, because they're the ones that you shout for when you're panicking.
Not
maybe
always.
for another day. Well, but
Not always.
a lot of the time you're looking for a big, strong guy to come and save you from the big bad guy who's
I have a
chasing
fear
you.
of people who are behaving in a way that makes me feel, whoever they are.
Yeah. We're never going to solve this one in 7 minutes, are we?
We must never
It's
give up.
ongoing.
We must
No.
never give up.
Still to come, Mariella Frostrup is discussing her guide to the menopause, plus from brain fog to loss of libido. We'll be answering the menopause questions that you always wanted to ask, but you weren't sure that you should. And after the break, we're going to find out what we've been Googling. Frankie wants to know, oh my goodness, how many days till Christmas? Are you kidding?
No.
It's 99, by the way. We'll see you in a bit.
Oh.
Welcome back to Loose Women. In a few minutes, Mariella Frostrup will be here, and at 1 o'clock, there she is. And at 1 o'clock, find out why me and Nadia spent last night in bed with Alison Hammond.
And you were naked.
All right, and why I was naked. All will be revealed.
I think we're going to live this down.
And when I say all will be revealed, I obviously mean metaphorically.
Oh,
so
what a
please
letdown.
do not get out there. You were looking forward to that, weren't you, young Frankie?
I really was.
You would think to yourself, wonder what it looks like 30
Jealous
years
that I
on.
wasn't there, if I'm honest.
Yes, we were talking about this earlier on, actually. Are we what we Google? Right, OK, so I think this is a very risky subject for us to do.
In my case.
You know, frankly, I'm not keen to do it. So let's go to Nadia first. What's the last thing you Googled? Can you find it?
Well, no, like this morning I've Googled, but the last thing I Googled, I know very well what it is, because when I was younger, I would be Googling things about my looks and everything. But what I've realised now, after 56 years of living with myself, there's so much I can't bear. I can't think of another 30 years of having it. And one is my laugh. So I've been Googling how to change your laugh.
I love your laugh.
Oh, I hate it.
I love your laugh.
Oh, it's so annoying. I literally can't bear it. But then the other thing is how not to waddle. Because I've got to an age...
You do waddle, to be fair.
I am waddling. and the other day, the girls were just casually talking about me. I was there, she goes, and Kiki said to Maddie, oh, my God, you won't believe Mum the other day. She came into the toilet, it was about 6:15, she had no pants on. She said her hair looked like a crack addict. And she was... she waddled in looking like a crack addict. And I was like, oh, my God, this has been my fear. And now my children are just casually mentioning me as a waddler.
Like
You do not waddle.
Jane,
She
I
does
waddle.
a bit.
I do.
You know.
I've started to do this.
I'm going to have to see
So I
later.
said to Mark, am I waddling? He goes, you are very heavy-sounding when you're upstairs.
You know,
I'm quite heavy-footed, though.
Deary me.
this has moved on from what
Yeah.
you Googled to... At what stage do you start to sort of almost
Waddle.
reject yourself? You sound as if you're
I'm trying to
rejecting
reject-
yourself.
I live in fear of my laptop being seized by the police in some... Because, you know, they go through your Google. Because when I write the column, I write about so many different subjects.
Oh, difficult
You
subjects.
know, like paedophilia or whatever. And so I'm Googling all sorts of stuff. And I think if they saw that, they would be going, oh, throw her
What's
in
the last
prison.
thing you Googled then?
But, you know, for example, I don't know whether this is algorithms or whether this is just the most popular. So you did how not to waddle.
Yeah.
If I just type in, this is very good if you try it at home, you just type in a phrase like how not to, and it comes up with stuff. The top one for me is how not to die.
Oh.
And the second one is how not to summon a demon lord.
They know you very well, Jane.
What does that say about you?
Well,
I
exactly.
think that sounds quite good fun.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're Googling Christmas already. Stop
I
it,
know,
stop it,
I'm
stop it.
sorry. I did also Google how not to be so tired, if that makes you feel better.
I think so many people will identify with that. Any tips come up?
No, nothing. It was basically like, sleep more.
Turn your phone off,
Yeah.
isn't it? 3 hours before you go to bed.
Tonight, I'm going to put you to bed early.
Oh, thanks, Nana.
It's competition
Oh,
time.
actually, as long as you've got clothes on.
Oh. Can't guarantee anything. It's competition time now, and it's our biggest one to date with £1 million up for grabs. To celebrate, our nanny Linda and her best pal Leslie Joseph have been dancing their way around the country today. They are in
still going?
Essex. Hi, girls.
Hello and welcome to sunny Essex, where we're celebrating giving away £1 million. What are you up to, Les?
It's Freestyle Friday, Linda. So, Christian, what are we doing today?
Freestyle, whatever comes into you, we're doing it.
Yes! Come on, Linda. Come on, everybody. Let's dance.
I'll catch up with you lot
Whoa!
later. But first, I have to tell you a prize. It's £1 million in one go, or you can take £10,000 a month for the next 10 years. What go. For your chance to make that £1 million decision, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD 37 PO Box 7558 Derby DE 10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 22nd of October at 4 p.m. Good luck.
I know, Linda, I know you're supposed to sort of dance like nobody's watching, but I think Linda's taken it a bit too seriously. She just doesn't give a monkey attention.
Everyone's watching.
And that is why we love her so much.
Yeah, we love her so dearly.
Now, our first guest has been on television since the 1980s. She's now a renowned journalist, broadcaster, author, agony aunt, Booker Prize judge, mother of two.
Underachiever.
And friend of the show. She's also just written a new book all about the menopause. Mariella Frostrup joins us now. Hi, Mariella.
Hello to my favourite lady team. How are you? I can't believe the way you dredged up that photograph from. And I was literally about 5 years old. Just had a lot of makeup on. But I just want to say, before you ask me about the book, that you were talking about Googling a minute ago. My dear co-author Alice was temporarily suspended from Twitter for using the word vagina. And it's very easy to end up using that word when you've written a book about the menopause. Can you believe it? Literally 24 hours suspension. When you think of the amount of rubbish that you can find, via social media. We were so shocked.
That's anyway, one of those things that is funny but not funny. It really...
Like, I also noted you were talking about this report today, this police report about violence to women. And, you were talking about stranger danger, but actually the biggest threat to most women is not stranger danger. That's the terrible thing. It's about violence in the home. 1 in 3 women is killed. One woman every 3 days is killed by her own partner. So, as you said, Kate, it's not an easy thing to change, but it's the culture that just has to change. That's got to be unacceptable. Like Jane said, if you make a call going, I feel like I'm in danger here, the police have to take you seriously.
Well, you're right, it's a cultural change, and sadly these things never happen quickly, but you have to start somewhere. Coming to the menopause and the subject of your book, cracking the menopause. Lovely, wasn't it nice? But that's another culture that we have to change, and you're very much part of that, Mariella, in that, going back not so long, maybe 5 years ago, we started talking about it on the show, 5 years ago, something like that. Yeah. But, there was a cultural sort of resistance to women even associating themselves with the menopause, wasn't there?
It's so fascinating. Like, I talked to friends of mine who worked for women's magazines and things, and they were, one of them in particular was banned. They were banned from using the word menopause at the magazine. But what I love are, I've just got to quote you a couple of these because they just make me laugh. Because when we set out to write the book, the thing I really wanted to address was all the mythology around the menopause, the fact that it's presented as the most terrifying thing that'll ever happen in your life, and you probably won't survive it, or at least if you do, then you won't be fit for human consumption. And you wonder where that came from. And you've got classical times, Aristotle, that great philosopher, he basically said that women were the wrong temperature, and that's why we had periods. We had to let all that toxic blood out in order to become the right temperature. Men, obviously, perfect. Medieval times, Albertus Magnus, a genius, who says women are packed with poison and can kill children with just a stare. When they're menopausal. And then you get to the 19th century, and basically anyone with a womb that is no longer functioning as it should, i.e. producing children, is repulsive, insane, and also repulsively lustful after men. You wonder where we got today's impression about the menopause, and you just have to look to the history of it and just think, this is crazy. The menopause has been diagnosed by the only people who don't get or have a menopause.
Although I must say that quote you said about, killing somebody with a stare or whatever, I think my husband would identify with that. One of my main symptoms was just a complete, even more intolerance than I normally have of everything. How did your lovely husband, Jason, deal with you going through the menopause?
I'd love to describe how he describes the experience of living with me through the menopause, but I couldn't because we're on television, and I'd probably, you'd have to do the same as Twitter did to my co-author Alice and just cut me out. It's full of expletives, let me tell you. But I think, partly people's attitudes to how we are during menopause are formed by past history, and that's why one of the most important things is to dispel the mythology around it and actually look at what it really is. Menopause just means one thing. It means it's been 12 months since you last had a period, and actually the period of time that we really need to be focusing on, and I learned so much in the course of writing this book. I was definitely walked into it blindly, which was to my eternal shame. But it's the 10 years before the menopause that we really need to be looking at, because that is when most of the harm is done in terms of, developing osteoporosis, in terms of increased risk of heart disease, all of the things that afflict women unless we deal with the catastrophic, drop in our hormones. And it's still treated like we're at the very beginnings of medicine when it comes to menopause.
But Mariella, isn't it remarkable, really, when you said you've learned a lot in the process of making this book? I mean, we would all like to think that we're mildly intelligent women with 3 brain cells each or whatever, but the level of ignorance I now have to appreciate that I had about this kind of biological stage of life that's never been a secret, I actually felt quite ashamed of myself. I mean...
it's no surprise, though, that we don't know very much about it, because one of the really bad things, particularly in this country, is the sort of lottery when it comes to treatment for menopause. And for so many women, it entirely depends where you live, who your GP is, whether or not they've actually looked into menopause, in terms of how you're going to be supported through it. And that's the absolute disgrace. It's not even mandatory as a topic of its own in terms of medical training.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in the dark ages, seriously. And yet it's going to affect 50% of the population. If men got the menopause, we would not be in this situation.
Well, listen, we're all about information, and we did ask our audience if they would have some questions for you, Mariella, and we were absolutely inundated, I have to say. So thank you very much. I know you're going to stay after the break and try and answer some of those questions, which hopefully everyone will find interesting. So please stay with us. Also, comedian Rob Beckett had admitted to putting pants on in bed so his kids don't spot him naked in the morning now that they're getting a bit older. Is there a right time to stop being naked around your children? I'm hoping, with Mariella's Scandi background, she'll be on my side with that one. And we will be revealing why me, Nadia, and Alison Hammond were all in bed together last night.
Next week on Loose Women, the British beauty who strutted to success, Abby Clancy. Opening up about escaping the Taliban, Penn Farthing and his wife, Kaisa Marcus. And giving us glamour, it's mother and daughter duo Pearl and Daisy Lowe. Don't miss it next week on Loose Women.
Oh, welcome back, my little pumpkin. Alison is waiting in the wings to tell us the truth.
Good to see you in our studio.
Hello. I've got something here to tell you all about.
Great night.
Oh, no. What's going to happen? You stay there. You stay there. Keeping you company until 1:30 alongside me, Kay Adams. It's Frankie Bridge, Jane Moore and Nadia Sawalha. I'm nervous now. I don't know what that girl's going to do. Still to come, Emmerdale's Amy Walsh and EastEnders Toby Alexander-Smith are expecting a baby in real life. And they're going to be giving us all the details at 1:15. You can tell that I am really nervous because I just don't know what Alison...
She's got photos.
Now, we were talking to Mariella Frostrup about the menopause before the break, and she's back with us to answer some of your questions because, as I say, we were absolutely inundated when we asked you what you would like to know about. Mariella, thanks for coming back and joining us. I'm going to hand over to Frankie, actually, with the first question, because, of course, this is all uncharted territory for you.
Yeah, this is all still to come for me. But I do feel like, being around all the ladies, I've learnt so much already. I'm going to go in fully armed. But Dawn has asked, which is a question that I often wonder about, actually. How do you know if you're starting the menopause, and when should you approach your doctor?
Well, that's a really good question, actually, because I was one of those people who didn't even realise that there were certain symptoms that were menopausal. I thought, like I think many of us do, that the hot flush is it. You wait for the hot flush, then you know you've got the menopause, and then you're done for. But actually, there are anything from about 34 to 50 symptoms of menopause. You probably don't want me to list them all right now and test my brain fog. But, you know, they can range anything from anxiety, insomnia, mood swings. I mean, there's just so many. I think that ultimately, as women, we have to learn to listen to our bodies. And if we feel that something isn't right, then we have to be able to go. And, you know, I know Sheryl Sandberg said we should lean in, not just though in the boardroom, we should lean in our own lives. So when you go to the doctor and you say, listen, no, this isn't normal. I've had really bad mood swings. No, I'm not depressed. I don't want antidepressants, because you know that 1 in 3 of us will get prescribed antidepressants unless we say, you know what, no. The test to prove whether you're menopausal or not just doesn't work. It's a complete waste of time. I had 3 in the space of 3 months, and I was peri over it and just starting. So really what you have to do is listen to your own body and have the confidence to go in and say, I think that this could be the beginning of my menopause. And for many of us, all that's required, like my co-author, Alice, is only 48. I'm just thinking now, I think she might be 46. No, she's 48. And she'll kill me. And she went and got HRT from her doctor and has basically had the shortest menopause in the history of the universe, about 3 days. Felt brilliant. You know, it dealt with the symptoms that she was struggling with. And, you know, it's a happy story. But I think for most women, you know, we're not confident about talking about it. We're a little bit ashamed about it. Absolutely, that has to stop.
Maria, listen, you answered so many points in that one answer, which was brilliant. And I'm so sorry we have run out of time. But can I just promise you that we are going to continue talking about this on Loose Women? It's not a subject that you kind of do and forget about. It's one we will come back to and come back to many times. So thanks very much today. Cracking the Menopause is Mariella's book. As I say, not a conversation that you just, you know, pick up and drop. We need to find out the truth about what happened last night. Alison, I can see Alison Hammond is waiting in the wings. I'm kind of worried. She looks as if she's got a bit of a slam dunk something going on. Well, hang on, Alison. Let's just remind everyone what the heck happened last night.
And I'll tell you what, we're not giving any more explanation than that.
You're a good cuddle, Alison, I must say.
Thank you. Well, the thing is, I just want people to know that that was my room.
It wasn't!
No, Kay, it was my room. And you know it was my room because I've actually got the evidence that this is your room, which was number 27.
Oh.
OK, Kay Adams, as you can see there, that was your room and you was in my room.
Saucy little minx, Kay Adams.
So,
That's why she was stripped naked.
Yes! she was waiting.
So I went back down to reception after my room had been, you know, stolen and said, listen, well, is my room there? They were like, no, it's gone. I said, well, can I have Kay Adams' room, please? And then they went, yes, Kay Adams' room's right here. So I went and slept in your room.
Oh, my God. Well, listen, Alison, I have to tell you, I was in that room, your room, and I had a shower at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I ate all the cookies. And you wait till you see your minibar bill, because it's going to be stonking.
But at least it's sorted now. And you know what? I love the fact that it was a massive bed. Nadia was on one side, you was on the other, and you had a lovely Alison Hammond space in the middle.
It was a beautiful
But I nearly thought about staying there all night.
I wanted you to.
I wish you did.
It was so good. But I'll never forget when you playfully ripped the duvet off and saw that Kay was stark naked.
I didn't tell her, honestly.
She's naked! She's naked!
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas, Kay. I'm getting you some pyjamas and a nightie, and you're going to wear them.
I'd be so grateful.
Alison, same time, same place next week.
See you later.
See you there, love.
Love you.
Bye, sweet cheeks.
Bye,
See you later, girl.
It's the best story ever.
Because Kay was so full of herself that Alison had come into her room and you had got her room.
And got naked in it.
I know. Love that girl. Anyway, talking about bedroom antics, have you seen this about Rob Beckett, the comedian? He's opened up this huge debate on Twitter because he said that he had decided, I don't know what age his kids are, but that time had come for him to put on clothes. There you go. Normally I sleep naked. My kids are getting older and they don't need to be presented with my giant first thing in the morning. I'm wearing a giant pair of dad boxer shorts tonight for the first time. Wish me luck. So he obviously decided there is a line, you know, age-wise, that you don't sleep with your kids naked. Clearly, I don't have that line. I think we've all established that.
With anyone.
Am I weird here or what?
Yeah. It is a bit weird that you are naked always in the bed when we share the bed.
Do you think so?
It's a little bit weird.
But you've never said anything.
Well, no, because I just accept it now. But now I'm very, very frightened. Now Alison Red died and found this out, that there could be a rumour could start. You know what showbiz is like? No, it is odd. It's not the norm, is it?
No.
To jump in naked with your
No, I
girlfriend.
mean, well, we'll go back to the kids thing, but I sleep... There's girlfriends that I'm quite happy to share a bed with because I've grown up doing that with all my schoolmates. But then there are some women you meet later in life who go, what do you mean share a bed? As if you're going to pounce on them in the middle of the night. It's quite strange.
But I wouldn't sleep naked with every woman. Do you know what I mean?
What about me, Kay? Would you
Good to know.
sleep naked with me?
Would I sleep naked with you? Well, no, not now, obviously.
Oh, I feel offended and hurt, if I'm
Well,
honest.
yeah, because I probably don't... But
It
then
would
you
now
would feel...
get weird if you now put pyjamas on. Like,
It would.
the next time we sleep together, if you put pyjamas on, I would find it...
You'll
like,
feel like she's uncomfortable with
But
you.
going back to the kids thing...
Yeah,
Well,
sorry,
Frankie
Joe.
feels like my child anyway, so I probably would.
I wouldn't sleep... Because I don't sleep naked. I have never slept naked, even like when I was 18 pre-kids. So now I don't sleep naked when my kids were in the bed with me. So it's not really an issue for me. But if I was a naked sleeper like you are, I probably would cover up. Mainly because I'm always thinking about, like, there might be a fire drill in the middle of the night and I'll be, you know, have a fireman's lift with my bum out down the ladder.
Jane, that's my dream. That's my dream.
I was actually
she's waiting for.
I was conjuring that thought, actually.
Ooh.
I think that's where it comes from. I think if you are a naked sleeper, then you won't think much of it, I suppose.
Come on, then, are you a naked sleeper?
Well, I wear, like, long T-shirts, so they're not nighties, but I wouldn't wear pants to bed. So, like, I still wear that, you know, everyone knows my kids sleep in my bed. I would still wear that to bed with my kids, but if, like, now I am more aware if my nightdress does ride up a little bit, I will put it down if they're in bed with me.
Why were you
but they
worried
don't
about?
notice anything, and, like, you know, my parents would walk around naked when I was younger, and I kind of do the same around my kids, so I wouldn't think anything of it.
No.
Really.
But even that you're pulling your nightie down, what is you worried about?
I don't know.
Well, I can't believe you would even ask that question.
Well, what are you worried
You're such
about?
a contradiction.
Your children, you give birth to them, for
You're
God's
so
sake.
like tartan knickers. And then the next minute, we're all supposed to have our knickers off and just all hang out with each other. It's very confusing.
I just really love it about her, though. I love it.
I know, but I mean, it's a complete wonderment at the rest of us.
If you went for a spray tan, would you take your knickers off?
Well, yeah.
Would you?
I think it seems
would
very
I?
clear
No.
to take your knickers off for anything.
What about when you're having a massage, do you take your pants off?
Stop asking me these questions.
When you get...
So many questions.
I'm now feeling violated. We're moving on.
Well, that's how Alison felt last night.
She loved it.
Oh,
In a few
dear, not
minutes,
too much.
we're going to be joined by Emmerdale's
come
Amy Walsh and EastEnders Toby Alexander-Smith, and I'm going to ask them if they sleep naked. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. They're expecting a baby together in real life, but which soap will they let the baby watch? Find out after the break. We're back with Amy and Toby next. Welcome back. Real-life soap star couple Amy Walsh and Toby Alexander-Smith join us in just a minute. But first, I thought that was a darts board behind them, but no, it's a lovely clock. It is competition time again. And one lucky person is going to have the chance to get their hands on our biggest prize ever. Linda and Leslie have been celebrating the massive £1 million giveaway by dancing in the street all week. How are you getting on, ladies? I was going to say have strictly been on the line, but they've already been on the line to Leslie, haven't they? Oh, they're lost in music.
Hello, welcome back to sunny Essex with our huge £1 million prize. We are celebrating by dancing. Come and do our social move.
Whoa! Come on, Linda!
£1 million in one go or £10,000 a month for 10 years. What a decision. To be in with a chance to win it, here come the details.
For your chance to make that £1 million decision, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD 37 PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 22nd of October at 4 p.m. Good luck.
There we go. I hope somebody goes in and rescues that young male dancer with the snake hips, because I don't fancy his chances. Run when you've got the chance.
Run for your life.
Oh, Leslie, no, cut away, quick. Me sleeping naked is nothing on what we were about to see there. Our next guest found fame on two of the biggest shows on television. Amy Walsh has played Tracy Metcalf on Emmerdale for the past 7 years, while Toby Alexander-Smith has starred in EastEnders as villain Ray Atkins since 2019. Having met 2 years ago, they are now a real-life couple and they are expecting their first child together. Amy and Toby join us now. Hi there, you two.
Hi, thanks for having us.
This is the ultimate television story, isn't it? I mean, two rival soap stars, I know you're not rivals, who meet on the set of Strictly. I mean, how did that come about?
I mean, you couldn't write it, could you? It was just pure chance that we were both there that night, sat on the front row. He walked in and sat next to me, and I turned around to my friend and was like, "Who is that? He's so fit." And she was like, "I knew you'd say that," straight away. And then we were just chatting all night and really got on.
Yeah, I mean, it's very snug in that Strictly audience. And we sat very similar to how we sat now. So it's like 4.5 hours of like, "You all right? Do you want me to just wiggle around a little bit?"
Yeah, we were doing that all night. Like, sorry.
Nadia, you're jealous, aren't you? I can see it.
Oh, well, I'm just remembering that, you know, those first moments are so lovely. What I love about your story, because my husband would identify this, chicken crisps played a part.
Oh, yes, it did. It really did. So once the show had finished, I went into the bar and Amy was in there with her sister and a few of her friends from Emmerdale. And I wanted to say goodbye to her. And as I looked over, she had the biggest glass of red wine and a packet of roast chicken crisps. And I thought, that is a woman after my own heart.
And I was mortified because when he came up to me to ask me out, I was stood there like, hey, and that like clutched back into my armpit. And I was like, yeah, you can have my number. Yeah, like an idiot. But
and you guys actually met not that long before lockdown, did you? And then you kind of made that decision to move in together quite early on in your relationship.
Yeah, it didn't seem like a massive decision at the time, I guess, because none of us knew how long that would be, did we? So we were just like, yeah, you know, I said to him, you come up to mine and we've got a bit more space where I am, and we'll just play it by ear. And then it obviously ended up being 3 months. We were both obviously off work. Both the shows stopped filming for 3 months, which was just a blessing in disguise for us, because it was the first time we properly got to live together and spend, you know, a good amount of time together instead of doing long distance. And it just made us, I guess, you know, people say it can make or break you, the lockdown thing, and yeah, it was the good version for us.
And now you guys are expecting a little lockdown baby together. So what, due December? Oh, look at that. So do you think, is it going to be a Christmas baby?
Oh, well, it could be, very possibly. I'm hoping for the baby's sake, maybe it doesn't arrive on Christmas Day, because they'll probably hate us forever. My grandma was a Christmas Day baby and she always hated it, so I feel a bit bad about that. But I'm sure.
Well, what I would say, my eldest is a Christmas baby, and there is nothing as magical, honestly. her arriving on 4 o'clock Christmas morning and everyone coming around for Christmas dinner. She was sort of part attached, actually, at the dinner. That's what we like in my house. No, but it was just because I had her at home and it was just so magical. So don't dread it. Now, is it for you? It must feel quite. It's even more of a surprise for you, wasn't it? Because Amy, you have polycystic ovaries. Is that right?
Yes. I got diagnosed with that at about 20. And obviously, when you're that young, you know, you don't worry too much. But as the years went on, it was definitely something that, you know, really played on my mind, especially getting into my early 30s when I was single at that point. And yeah, it was just something I always worried about, fertility. I really was convinced and had convinced myself that it would be a struggle. And it was something I discussed with my doctor and stuff just before we decided to start trying. And she was like, if it's on the cards, I would just go for it and see. And we did. And it was like,
That was you, Toby. You were on the cards, so she just went for it. Yay, lucky boy.
Well, that's sleeping naked.
Well, I might as well ask. Do you sleep naked, the pair of you?
No.
On those hot summery nights in lockdown.
No, you don't. I'm renowned for wearing like a tracksuit in bed. My friends take the nick out of me because even when it's like warm, I'll still like wear full pajamas on. Not the sexiest in that way, but
I like it.
Toby, I can't let you go without asking, when is Gray going to get his comeuppance on EastEnders?
I mean, I'm asking the same questions. He needs to be caught. No, his comeuppance is definitely on the cards. When that may be, I still don't know, but I'm sure he will be punished in true soap fashion. So.
Oh, you have left us in true soap cliffhanger style there.
Punished, because then we won't
What a
see
pro, what a pro. Listen, lovely speaking to both of you. We wish you all the happiness in the world for your new arrival. It's an absolutely lovely story. So a Christmas baby will be a wonderful gift if that's indeed what comes. Thank you. That is it for today and this week. Next week, we have got loads of great guests. We've got Larry Lamb, Abby Clancy, as well as Daisy and Pearl Lowe, all joining us. Have a fabulous weekend.